In this demonstration, I'm going to show you how to set up a feature class that can be published to ArcGIS Online, used by a collector to edit the feature class, and then we'll take a look at how that same feature class in a web map can be used in Dashboard and be used to monitor those collected edits as they come in from the field. So the first thing that we'll do is create a database to hold our feature class. And we'll do that in ArcMap, specifically in ArcCatalog. I'll right-click on a folder and click New File Geodatabase. I'll give this a name of MyDB. And then once that's created, we want to create a domain. We do that by right-clicking on the database and clicking Properties. And on the Domains tab in the Properties window, I can enter in a new domain. And this is going to be a domain that my collectors will use to get a choice list. So I'm going to type in the name of my domain as Things to Know. And this will just be interesting or important things that a collector would share. And I want this to be a coded domain. I'll leave the field type as a long integer. And then I just need to write in some codes. So I'll just type in code 0, and this choice will be interesting place. And for the second choice, we'll put in a picturesque place. And for our third choice, we'll put in a category of something that needs improvement. Maybe if collectors out there see something wrong, they can take a picture of it and report on it. So pretty happy with this setup, so we'll click OK. There I've got my domain. Now I need to create a feature class. So again, I'll right-click on the geodatabase, and I'll click New Feature Class. And the name of this is going to be Observations. And I want it to be a point feature in this case, so I'll click Point Features and select Next. And then here we can choose a coordinate system. My web map is going to be in Web Mercator. We always want to avoid projecting on the fly if we can, so I'll just leave that. And we'll set the tolerances. We'll take the default, and default's here. And now I want to enter in some fields that I want my users to collect. So the first one is this thing to know. So I'm just going to put in a field called shared information. And for that, I'm going to set the field type to long, because that's what we had set our domain up on. And then if I go down here to my domain, I can see that I can choose the domain Things to Know. So we'll add that in there. And then I'll add in another field called Notes. And we'll just let that be an open text field. And maybe we'll give them a few more characters to work with. So we'll set that to 350 so people can type in a description or some notes about the thing that they collect, and click Finish. So now I've got a feature class, and it's added into my map here. So another piece of prep work that we want to do is that I want people to be able to take pictures with Collector and add those attachments to the features. So in order to do that, I need to enable attachments. So if I click Manage, I can say Create Attachments. And then as people are collecting, I also want to keep track of who's doing the collecting. So I want to enable editor tracking. So we'll go ahead and click Enable Editor Tracking. Now this is just telling me with this message that it's going to add some fields that'll do all the business of keeping track of who edits the data and when it's edited. So we'll go ahead and add those, click Yes, and now we've got our fields added. So the next step is to turn this into a hosted service so that collectors within an organization or within ArcGIS Online can contribute to this feature service. Before I do that, though, I'm going to just set up some of the symbology on this as well, as long as we're here in ArcMap. So I'll right-click on Properties, and I'll click Symbology. And I'm going to go ahead and set this up on Categories, and we'll add all the values, and that just reads in from my domain. And you can see they're already filled out here, so I'll go ahead and turn off the all other values. Those look pretty good, so I'll click OK. And then from here, I'll just improve this symbology a little bit. So we'll pick an interesting place to look like this. Picturesque place. We'll use the camera here. And then we'll go with this symbol here for something that needs some work. And here we've got our symbols. So now this all looks good. So the next thing I want to do is publish this as a hosted feature service. So I want to sign in to ArcGIS Online, and I'm just going to use my organizational user here. And sign in. Now once I'm signed in, I'll just take a moment. I can go to the File menu, and I can share this as a service. And I want to publish a service. Click Next. And here I'll see that I have an option for my hosted services on my Nitro organization. And for this service name, I'll just call this Observations. Click Continue. And now in this next dialog, I want to set up some properties for this feature service. So for capabilities, I want it to be a feature service. I don't want to create a tiled service. And the feature access, this is an important step for working with Collector. We want to make sure that users can edit. So that means they need to be able to create features, and we'll let them delete features and update features. Then in the sharing section, this is where I choose who gets to participate in this. And for this purpose, I'm going to choose everyone and make it a public feature service. And on the item description tab, I need to just do a little work here to fill out some tags that are required. So we'll just say a feature service for sharing interesting places and things. And we'll just say Collector demonstration. And we'll leave it at that. Let's go ahead and publish this service. So now it's going to spin up these services on ArcGIS Online, or spin up this service. Okay, the service is published successfully. So now we can take a look at ArcGIS Online and use this service in a web map. Okay, so our next step is to create a web map that uses the feature service that we just created. So I'm going to start by signing into ArcGIS Online using the same username and account that we created the hosted service with. So this is my Echo Nitro user. We'll sign in. And then what I want to do is start by just going to My Content, and I'll find that feature service that I just created. And we can look here by modified date that I've got observations here as my feature service. So we'll go ahead and we'll just add this layer to a new map. And here it brings in that feature surface. We don't have any features in it yet, so we won't see anything. But if I click, I can see here my legend entries for that feature surface. And for our purposes here, I just want to save this map. And we'll name this as collected observations. Give our map a tag called observations, and map for sharing interesting things. Oh, let's see, a map for collecting and sharing interesting places. And we'll go ahead and save that. Now, another thing that I want to do when I'm in this map, and this is about thinking about how it's going to be used in Dashboard, I want to set this up so that it'll refresh at a specific interval. And in this case, I'm going to set it to a tenth of a minute, which will be 6 seconds. And in this way, when we're in Dashboard, as things are collected, we'll see those update every 6 seconds. So I'll go ahead and I'll save that. And then I want to share this in a location that collectors can access it. So I'm going to share this with everyone. And then specifically, I'm going to share it with this app test group. And that way, collectors in my organization that are members of this group, it'll just be easier for them to browse to the app test group and then add the map to begin their collecting. The next thing that I want to do is create a dashboard that uses this map. So I'll go ahead and open Operations Dashboard. And it's going to automatically sign me in because I've signed in before with this account. So I've got the same account here that I've used to create the service and create the map. And I'm going to create a new operation view. For this demonstration, I'm going to create a multi-display operation view. So I'll click Create. And the first thing that it wants us to do is pick a map to use with this operation view. And that's exactly what we want to do. So I'll go ahead, pick the map, and when it loads in my content, we'll see here my most recent map is collected observations. That's the map we want to use. So we'll go ahead and open that. Now in Dashboard, we configure it to work with data sources. And the data source is that feature service that we created, and that's the observations. So that's what we want to use. So I'll click OK. And here we see the map opened up in Dashboard. And in Dashboard, we can create widgets that can keep track of what's happening in the map. And for the purpose of keeping track of edits, a very handy widget is the list widget. So I'll go ahead and add a widget. And from this list of widgets, I'm going to choose the list widget. And I'll click OK. And from the list widget, I want to get the collected observations. Knowing how the data is set up, I want to sort the field. And I want to go by the last edited date. And I want that to be descending. And we'll go ahead and select the top item, which will be the most current edit by default. And then in the feature display, we can set up what we want to display in the list window. And since we don't have any features now, we can't really see anything or preview, but we'll come back to this in a little bit. But for now, I'll just go ahead and I'll put the last edited user's name in there, and we'll remove the notes just for now. And I'll click OK. And so here now I've got my dashboard with a list widget, and it's pretty much set up and ready to show me some edits as they happen. So the next thing we want to do is take a look at Collector and start collecting some edits. So let's see what we can do there. As you can see here, I've already got the Collector open on my device. And here I'm logged in as user Mark Nitro. This is a different user from what we've been using so far to this point. And what I'd like to do is click My Maps. And this will give us a choice list from which we can see here I can click on my app test group. And just as a user, this lets me more easily find maps that have been shared with me. And we can see here that we have this collected observations map at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up in Collector. And here we see this map opens up. And if I click the location, it will zoom me to my current location in the map. And here we're centered in on the ESRI campus. And what I'd like to do is just collect at this location. So we'll go ahead and click this plus sign at the top to collect our point feature. Tap the plus. And here we see that choice list. And this is the domain that we set up for that feature class at the beginning of this demonstration. And I'll go ahead and click Picturesque Place. And we'll go ahead and add that place here. So I'm going to add in a little description here. So I'll click on Notes. And this will let me add in that further description here. So I'm just going to write in a view from Esri. Okay, we have that written in here, this note. And I'll click Done. And then we'll go ahead and get a picture. So I'll tap on the picture icon, add a photo, and take a photo with the phone. And then at this point I need to hold up the phone. We'll take a picture out the window. We can see that here, and see the picture out the window. And just take and tap that on the map. And then we'll just use this photo here. So tap that. And we'll click Done. And then we'll go ahead and submit our edit. And that will post the attachment and send it off to our map, sending in the updates. We can see those edits coming into dashboard now. So let's switch over and take a look at dashboard. And if we zoom in on our point here, you can see where that was collected. And we'll see here that it was at the Esri campus. And we can see that the name of the editor is updated in our list. And we can see that, so that looks pretty good. So now I'd like to just configure this a little more. So I can go back into my list configuration. And on the feature display, I'm going to add in the note as well. So go ahead and add the note field in. And click OK on that. So we've got the last edited user and the note. Oh, another thing that I can do in the configuration, if I go to the feature actions, we can select highlight. So here I've got highlight selected, click OK. Now when I double click on that feature, it highlights and centers it in the map. And that's pretty nice. Another thing that I can do is add another widget. Let's go ahead and dock this one off to the left. And bring my map in here, get that back in view. And we'll add in another widget. And this widget that we're going to add in is a feature details widget. And this widget is going to show us pop-up information for that field. So what I'd like to do is, if it has attachments, show the attachment. And I want to use the selected feature from the list. Go back to title and click OK. And here we see that photo come in, and I'll go ahead and dock this in with the list widget here. And so there we see our feature details for that collected feature, as well as the attachment that we enabled on that feature class. So now let's go ahead and collect another location. So we'll come back to the phone, and this time I won't use the location. I'll turn that off in Collector, and I'll just capture a point by hand. And this time we'll do something that needs improvement, and I'll place that on the map. So I'll just click another point over off here, say, and we'll add a picture for that one as well. Let's go ahead and add, take photo, and now we'll point outside. As you can see that there's some landscaping that needs to be done out there, so we'll go ahead and take a picture of that. And we've got that now taken on our picture. We'll go ahead, we'll use this photo, and then we'll click done, and we'll go ahead and submit that. We didn't take any notes that time, but we see that we've submitted our picture, and we see that it's updated in dashboard. Mark Nitro user, and here's a picture of that location that needs some improvement out the window. So there we can see how easy it is to go ahead and set up a dashboard that listens to Collector edits and edit a feature class that we published as a hosted feature service.